We'll see. Okay.
You are now live on Channel 8 and YouTube.
Thank you, TCTV. Good evening. Time is now 5:30 p.m. I'm Chairman Timothy Toth, and I call this emergency business meeting with the Select Board to order this first day of April 2025. If you're able to, please join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you for that.
Mr. Chair, Tom Harrington is on Zoom.
Thank you. I'd like to remind everyone, today's meeting is being broadcast live on TCTV Cable Channel 8 and on our YouTube web platform. For those who may wish to visit any part of the proceedings, the recording will also be available on our YouTube channel. We hope you subscribe to all the videos. The chat in our YouTube stream is considered the same as if comments are requested in person. They're allowed by the chair and must be by name and address. If any audience members are recording the meeting or plan to do so, please notify us prior to starting. I don't believe that'll be the case this evening. We further ask our partners at TCTV, please inform the chair if there are any issues with the live feeds so that we can pause while they are remediated. Roll call and welcoming. We have the full board at this time. We also have Chairman Mr. Moschetti from the Planning Board, and joining us via Zoom, our Town Council, our interim Town Administrator, and the Executive Assistant. Thank you all for joining us tonight. The agenda this evening, along with other public documents, are available at www.templetonma.gov, the official website for town information. Here you may also subscribe to any alerts for all public meetings, our Town Administrator's weekly reports. For immediate updates, including emergency notifications, please enroll in our Code Red alert system through our website or by calling 866-939-0911. This service is vital for staying informed on important emergency matters. As the chair, although I maintain discretion to modify the agenda, this is only a one-item agenda this evening, so I don't anticipate that. And let's have a productive and respectful meeting. Our one and only business item is at the request of the Planning Board through Chairman Kirk Moschetti to consider an appeal to the Gardner Planning Board on their approval of a subdivision off Route 2A known as Compass Lane. Mr. Moschetti.
Good. Thank you, Stephen. I have brought here tonight, I'll give you a little history. The city of Gardner, no different than we do every municipality when a neighboring town is doing something, an act, whether it be ZBA or planning, whatever, you always notify the other towns, let them know what's going on. And so this planning, it's easy, like very close to you. This plan, I went to the meeting, I think it was their first or second meeting, the Gardner Planning Board, about putting their subdivision in. It's basically, it's right on Route 2A down here, right on the Gardner line. This is the property that is in question that they're doing a subdivision. I think it's 18 or 20 lots, what have you. I expressed my concern for safety. First I thought they'd have to come to Templeton because it goes through Templeton. However, the little bit of land that it goes through Templeton is actually in the Mass Highway footprint. So kind of like technically, yes, technically, but not a big deal to us as far as whether we signed it or not. But I strictly looking at it from a safety perspective is that you're coming around the corner right here, which is by the old Eames property. The last stretch, you come around by Royer's house, and everybody's aware what the project is. And boom, we're gonna have a road coming out. I expressed concerns at their February meeting, as well as their follow-up meeting. I think it was in I think the first one was October, the second one was in February. And I told them that I did not like their layout, being that there was so much more room over here. I'm concerned with not just cars, but truck traffic, gravel trucks, so on and so forth. Heavy loads coming around this corner, not having enough room to brake. So I suggest they put the road on the easterly side, giving everybody enough time to brake. Should somebody, well, not should, but when people are pulling out of the intersection there. And it basically fell on deaf ears. It's not just because. I'm gonna say this. We as a town, me as planning board chairman, even though I don't have any jurisdiction on this project. I just think as a humanitarian, even if I wasn't even on the board, even a citizen, I think would have the right to appeal their decision, and it's strictly based on safety. I did speak with town council about it, and he instructed me that the blessings of the planning board to do so. Whether they will, or whether they want to take it to court, we have no idea about. We need a decision today. If I get a favorable decision, where town council tomorrow's the deadline, the last day to file. It seems strange to me that with this project and me bringing up a lot of issues that I had with the design, but I'm not going to beat up the engineer. It's not my place to do so. It seems to me that it went through so fast with very little. To me personally, it fell on deaf ears. And after this project was signed, two members resigned and another one was fired. So it's just like, but that's Gardner's politics. I don't really care about Gardner's politics. Whether it was a coincidence, perhaps it was a coincidence. But I'm strictly looking from a safety standpoint. I just believe that if you can get an extra, let me look at the plan here. There's an extra 249 feet from the proposed radius of the road, the proposed road, to their property line. 250 feet that's a tall glass of water when it comes to braking. Somebody being able to, and I asked them at the Gardner Planning Board when it was falling on deaf ears, I asked them to put a price on somebody's life, and nobody seemed to put a number out there. And I told them, I want to at least go on record as saying that I was against it. I think they can do better. It's planning board in Templeton. We don't look at somebody's personal gain as a deciding factor. They say, oh, it's going to be too expensive to do it. That's not my problem, because it's either going to be done right or it's not going to be done at all. It's the same here. I don't know. I haven't done any engineering in my head to say, hey, if they do this and do that, they won't lose a lot. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. I don't know, but that's not my concern. My concern is like I keep saying, a minivan pulling out of there with a mom's soccer mom with a few kids in the back seat, and having a 90-degree accident. I myself have personal experience when I think it was last year. I was coming around that corner. It was a heavy rainy windstorm. I come around that corner. It was an oak tree, big oak tree. If anybody remembers it, it came right across the road right there. And that was way up here, right about where they're proposing the subdivision. And I drove right through the M3 with my pickup truck. Because I couldn't stop, and the tree was already down. And so to me, I'm looking at that as that could be the same exact scenario with a school bus or somebody pulling out of this intersection. Well, actually including a school bus, because they go in the garden. And so I'm just asking for the opportunity to get them to do the right thing. And if not, at least going on the record, say, we tried everything we could and back on down. So that's really all unless somebody got any questions for me, or I can answer, but anything might know how to replan, so.
Mr. Chair.
Good.
I do have, just to gain perspective, Google's got Street View.
Yep.
I don't know if it would be helpful for me to bring it up and show what you're talking about.
That's fine.
Absolutely.
I mean, sorry.
And it is 45, is it 45 miles an hour on that road? 45 miles.
I think it actually, at least it helps.
35 to 40, yeah, at least.
40.
But I believe. I think this here is the Eames, is it Eames, the one right in the corner?
Yep.
The old house in the corner?
So this
Oh, there
is,
you go.
this is going down. So he's got a long stretch coming westbound, but he's, Kirk, you're talking eastbound. So this is,
I'm concerned with eastbound traffic.
yeah,
at the
this is
most, correct?
right, this is. We got a little bit of, this is going eastbound, right where that tree you said. So this is coming forward now,
Yeah,
waiting for it to catch up. There we go. That's the Ames house right there, right?
like Joe,
Right on the left.
The old tavern, yeah. It is 40 miles an hour on that road.
And so this is right across from the Ames house. And on your overhead, the house is there. So you can see where it is across
yeah,
from
you
the
can
road
see it on
there.
this, on their
So if you
plan.
can see my cursor, this right here is the edge.
Okay, there you go, that's that house right there. correct.
Exactly. And so what we're talking about is
You're
just,
standing right on, like the car right now
exactly,
is actually in the wrong lane, but it's, you're right on the corner, like you've already gone around the corner. And so that's what's, that road is gonna be staring at you right there, as
right.
soon as you come around that corner.
It's right behind that car is where the
It's
entrance is
almost directly
proposed.
across the street
Yep.
from the old Eames house.
Yep.
And to me personally, I know that they're proposing a detention pond and so on and so forth, because it's the lower side. I get all that, but it's not undoable to put the detention pond, dig a little deeper and stick it on the uphill side and pipe it across underneath the road. That's just not rocket science.
That property right there, the house where the
Yeah.
cursor is that depicted on your
That,
plans? The abutting property?
no, but this is the
Okay.
property though, right here, the other property that you're talking about. Where the
Mr. Chair, I
house-
just
the
thought it would
house
be
we have
helpful
back.
to get a good understanding of what that road, the visibility, so that's right after the curve.
So you figure, we'll just pick a gravel truck coming around the corner at 100,000 pounds loaded. He's literally got just minimal feet to stop. And even with a traffic study, I was there, I asked them about their traffic study. And the numbers they read were right on the margin. I mean, there wasn't like an extra foot, in other words, they were at the very maximum on the stopping distance. To even make it doable at all. And so I'm saying to myself, but yet you have an extra 250 feet where you can utilize. To increase those numbers drastically. So I just feel strong about it from this, it's strictly a safety standpoint. And as town Templeton isn't a butter to the project, I think we have a responsibility, I should say, to protect our citizens and neighbors, because we're the ones who use the road. I mean, everybody's asking me, so what's gonna happen when there's gonna be an accident there, they're gonna call Templeton Services, and I says, well, I don't mean to sound gruesome here, but it's gonna happen here, they're gonna hit them so hard, they're all gonna end up in Gardner.
Well, in my training with CERT, the first thing Mr. Curtis said is if you see, you can avoid accidents if you're paying attention to one detail, and that looks like a detail
Yeah.
to me that if as a board needs to be addressed, to avoid accidents, that one little minor detail. Major in this case, because it could,
I mean, looking at the plan like myself, I said I didn't, but I kind of a little bit, NGA'd it out in my head saying, this is lot 14 right here. You know, if they just took this road and went this way with it instead of that way with it. They can put it, because on the other page, it'll show you the detention pond and whatnot is here, so. It can be reconstructed, there's no doubt about it.
And to your point, I don't know the geo surfaces there, but as you said, that's more their concern, not ours.
Correct.
Yeah, Terry, to your point, that's one of the facets of community risk reduction. If we can identify a concern and minimize the risk, it's always in the best interest of the general public. Any issues, thoughts?
So if we file the appeal, is it the planning board's hope that by filing the appeal,
They may go to
the cost
redesign,
of the project and maybe
they may go right to
relook at
redesign,
it?
Yeah. and that,
Is,
maybe you could ask Mr. Harrington about that.
is that a legal thought as well?
Tom?
Yeah, so if now's the time I should respond. I think that would certainly be a good outcome. I don't think, and to start off, Tom Harrington, Town Council, nice to see you all. I think that would be a good result for us. I don't think we're looking to blow up the subdivision. I think we're just looking to have the roadway moved. I think we have some challenges in this action in that, what we would need to demonstrate that the condition of the location of the road as it intersects with 2A is so dangerous that it requires it to be moved. And we can only do that with expert testimony. So what we're going to need to do is hire a traffic expert who can testify and put in writing that the condition is so dangerous that it should not have been approved, but that it could be approved if it were moved. So I guess kind of full circle, yes, I think we would be looking to try to just get them to adjust the plan. But I do think we have a tall task on our hands.
Agree, Tom, and I appreciate you reaching out late last Thursday evening, hence the drive for this emergency meeting, because we were under the tight constraints for timelines to be able to get together, have this discussion, see if we can reach a consensus on what do we want to do, because tomorrow is our deadline for any kind of a filing, if I'm not mistaken.
It is. And so we've kind of taken the opportunity to look at the decision, look at the plans and see if we find other, for lack of a better term, violations with their subdivision regulations. So, and we don't. So we can't say that the roadway is too long. There's, oftentimes a subdivision needs waivers in order to be approved. Then waivers are waivers of certain conditions of the subdivision regulations. There were no, as far as we can tell, there was no waivers asked for here and no waivers granted. So it's, as best I can tell, a waiverless plan. So we would be trying to appeal a waiverless plan.
Could we also raise the safety concerns with MassDOT Highway District 2, which is, well, Gardner is kind of District 3 and we're District 2. I don't know if we'd have to go contact both districts, but would that be an option?
So
Yeah.
Kirk and I talked about this last week, and I think that's a really good idea. They do need a curb cut from the state to construct this road. And I don't know if a curb cut has been granted or not, but if it has not yet been granted, I think it would be timely for us to get some information before them, asking them to relocate the curb cut to the eastern side of the property. That solves the problem.
Good point.
I
Yep.
think if the steps we take, we may not have to go the full length if we can just get somebody to
If we
stop
can
and put the brakes on, so to
Take this
speak.
step and
to
get your attention
take
and
a
then
look.
follow through with Mass Highway through your curb cut opening, because you can't get there from here without their blessings.
Mr. Chair, just another document that we were handed was from Christine
Yep.
Tree Legal. And it says, this is to Chair Shaffron, who's no longer the chair. Kirk, is that right?
In Gardner,
Yeah,
for
for the planning board.
I'm not sure who the players are.
Is it Bob, Robert Schwartz?
Yeah, I think he was in there.
Says, I'm writing on behalf of the applicant in response to questions raised at the November planning board meeting. So this, Tom, have you seen this Christine Tree Legal?
I
Okay,
have not.
all right. it gets to the portion where it starts talking about, and this goes to what Jeff was talking about. Mass dot within its right of way has exclusive jurisdiction over the building permit for access to Route 2A. In a case involving the portion of Route 2A in Acton, the Mass Appeals Court found that the department has the exclusive authority to regulate excavations or driveway openings onto any state highway. In a 2003 subdivision appeal case, the land court also found that imposing subdivision conditions regarding access to a portion of Route 2A in Boylston was not permissible, as access to state highways was beyond the control of the landowner or applicant and not a condition of the board could enforce. So
That was-
Does it say that they have their curb cut permit?
That letter was, I think, generated from my visit of the first meeting, I think it was in October. Because they kind of came back the next meeting and they had that letter. 'Cause that was what I was questioning there, whether it was Templeton, even if it was Templeton land. But it's really just under the Mass Highway footprint, so it was like, do we have any jurisdiction or not? I was trying to get it in my door, so to speak, but that was her answer to my concerns, what we just talked about.
oh, and and that was just before the summary, Tom, and we'll try and get you a copy of this ASAP, maybe within the next couple of minutes. I can work on doing that.
Okay.
I'll go scan it in.
Okay, yeah, Holly's gonna work on that right now. Mr. Chair, additionally. So that's near the end, just before the summary. I'm just trying to understand. Is it worth it, as Jeff is saying, to go to MassDOT and say,
Well, most definitely.
yeah, I think it
I
is.
think it.
I do too. I do too.
And then,
Because it's all-
and without a remedy from that, then it sounds fairly grim based on the rulings that I have here from Acton and Boylston. In terms of what you're able to do.
Yeah, I think as I said, I think it's a really tall order to win this case.
Where does it get filed, Tom, for you, Mr. Chair? Where does it get filed? Is it housing court? Or what are they?
No, you can either do it in Worcester Superior or Land Court.
Land court, okay. Probably best at land court because I think they know the land, so to speak, better. We hope so.
One would hope.
Yeah, we're gonna, it's honestly so I think I probably didn't emphasize this enough, but the problem with trying to appeal a waiverless plan under subdivision control, if you don't need any waivers, you're supposed to be able to do the plan as a matter of right. So we're going just on safety, and we would need to survive a motion to dismiss right off the bat. And even without having seen the letter, I'm concerned that we would be able to survive it.
Yeah. Get another question for you, Kirk.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair. So in the Christina tree, it said that lots 1 through 5, and to go with the overhead that you have right there. I want to get the lot number. If they're talking 1 through 5 in the legal letter, does it correspond to the lots that I see on the overhead that you have right in front of you? So on the left-hand side, it's lot 1, then descending downward, lot 2, lot 3, lot 4, lot 5.
They're all on this side right here.
Got it. All right.
Right, going in.
So on the second page, it says the Templeton portions of lot 1 through 5 could also be labeled as non-buildable.
Oh, because the back of these are lots right here.
Yes.
1 through 5, you see the line going through the middle?
Yep.
That's Gardner side and Templeton side.
Okay.
So the lots are in both towns. But yeah, no, we don't have.
I understand.
no
Okay.
jurisdiction to
It's
subdivision.
buildable on the Gardner side for a
It's buildable on
dwelling.
both sides, but it's, you always go through from the subdivision, so there's no, we have no say on the subdivision because it's all backland, it's in Templeton.
Okay.
We would treat Gardner the same way as far as, it's not a problem.
Kirk, the reason for my question or the clarification on that, if you shift that road to the right or
Yeah.
easterly, does that fundamentally change the nature of the subdivision? Are they still able to build, they want to make money, they want to sell
Right.
lots and otherwise, does that still work?
Oh my God, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if they want to go up the lot. I'll read upside down here. Even at lot 16 and turn and bring the road this way, or 15 and 16.
Yep,
I mean, okay, they might lose a lot, may have to reposition another lot, but I mean, maybe lose one lot, but. Tell you what,
I'm with
if
you.
they,
I'm with you.
if they just ambulance down there waiting for the coroner to show up.
Yeah.
I wanna make sure I said I did everything I could do,
Yep.
regardless of what anybody vote could, or says. Because I just have huge concerns that somebody's gonna get killed there. Because of that being so close to the corner, and I know how traffic goes down that road. I'm one of them, everybody is. I mean. It's a blind corner. If you come around that corner with sun in somebody's eyes or somebody texting or what have you.
Yeah.
There's nowhere to go, so to speak. There's nowhere to go. You're either gonna go in the other lane, have a head-on collision, or you're gonna smack the car that's in front of you broadside. But I think, Tom, not to beat you up at all, but I will.
Go ahead.
Just don't say it's just safety, because to me, that's the priority, is the safety of it all. I wouldn't downplay the safety of it. If anything, I would make it I hang your hat on safety.
Right, that's, I think that's the only claim we can make. that-
I get it, and that's really the only claim I'm going after.
Yeah,
Somebody
So after-
more important is two, three people getting killed.
Yeah.
Got a problem. Society's got a problem.
Mr. Chair?
Good.
So Kirk's been at his job for 25 years,
20 years.
20 years,
Running
sorry.
for my 5th term.
Wouldn't he be a subject matter expert? Why wouldn't his testimony be good enough?
I don't think the court would treat him as an expert in another town.
I'd gladly go and defend the general population though. My thing is that it's not like it's undoable. It's not like there's a mountain, a ledge here, and they say, it costs $1 million extra to go that way, and the subdivision is economically unfeasible. It's not the case.
That's why I asked that
You're
question.
moving dirt this way, you're moving dirt that way. Maybe lose one lot. It's a small price to pay. To say we've done everything we possibly could.
Yeah, I'm not even convinced they would lose a lot looking at some
I
of the
know,
other
it's
ones
just-
further
it's up
down.
there, I
that
think they can
They narrow
And
down.
angle it a little bit and,
So Tom, if we went in for the safety concern, but we also went through MassDOT simultaneous, it may require both the District 2, District 3, but I think that's our angle to work because they're gonna control those curb cuts no matter what, and we've already seen that. So I think it's a multifaceted approach to this.
I mean, I'll get on the phone tomorrow with Mass Highway, because I know, where it is, and I'll meet them down there. And I just gotta make sure they haven't been there already, or even issued their curb cut yet. That's the biggest thing, so that's against the time too. But if I at least get contact with the right person and say, hey, we have concerns with the curb cut, they'll take note of it, they won't just brush you off, because.
Yeah, so I've scanned the letter. It doesn't indicate whether the curb cut has been issued or not. My concern is based upon her legal arguments, which are you don't get to disturb a curb cut of MassDOT. It's as if they already have it, which is how they selected the entrance. But let's get the answer to that first.
At the last meeting, Tom, they did state that now they have to go for curb cut.
Oh, they
So,
did? Okay.
Yes, they hadn't got it as of the last meeting, which was in, February. March. No, it's March now, oh no, it's April now.
Is that the mid-March one?
Yeah, whatever the last meeting was, they hadn't had it, I went to the last meeting. I think it was the first weekend, it was the first weekend.
It was
first weekend,
February 11th. And their last meeting listed here was March 11th.
I think it was March 11th, if I was there, they basically said, okay, we're all set, we just gotta go.
I thought they came up with this up to MassDOT stuff in the February meeting. Because
Yeah,
I
it was February,
watched.
yeah. Well, even if they have, I mean, there's nothing saying that we can't at least maybe get their attention to revisit it. But the biggest thing, if they haven't signed a permit yet, then now's the time we want to talk to them.
I think the easiest way to gain no traction on this is to take no action, and that's not what we want to do. I see Tom shaking his head, yes.
No, and I guess it's just so I can be clear. I think pursuing MassDOT is absolutely the way to go, and I think we should put our all into that. I don't want to mislead the board as to what I think the likelihood of success is on a suit. I think we've got a tall hill to climb there. But I am certainly more optimistic on the MassDOT piece, but I will pursue either or both at your direction.
Probably wants a legal battle. That's what I'm
No.
thinking, if we file it, they may look at the plan again, a little closer. More of a strategy.
I guess if we,
You have to, it's, sorry, Mr. Chairman.
yeah, if we filed it, I mean, you can always withdraw, am I right in my thinking?
Yeah.
Tom?
Well, we would need, yeah, I mean, we're going to need the other side to assent to the withdrawal. So, and most likely, we're not really going to be dealing with the town. We're going to be dealing with the developer. So it depends on what their appetite is to fight.
And losing another season to do so.
Mr. Chair, it's a twofer, like you said, we have to file because the deadline's tomorrow, but the first avenue to pursue is the MassDOT right away.
Yeah.
And then, that might solve the problem. And
Sure.
then maybe reconvene and go from there, or are we gonna? If not, then go full bore with the lawsuit.
Well, it's, get a consensus of the board, but, as Tom told us, doesn't want to mislead us, and there's no guarantees a suit is the answer, and you gotta look at this, are we starting to throw good money at a bad situation? And that's always in the back of my mind, and right now, as we're all aware, budgets are tight.
I am thinking the MassDOT avenue would be our best bet. I think that's.
Agreed.
Agreed. And we can caveat and address our concern for safety as well. That's kind of the frosting on the cake, but. Any other thoughts?
MassDOT, no lawsuit.
MassDOT backup lawsuit, but because the date is tomorrow, we really don't have a choice if like Kirk said, people don't want to go to court, they want
No.
to settle out of court, so and even though money's tight,
We're not asking for that, we're not asking.
we're asking for what.
Monetary damages like
lives
that, we
there.
just want them to do it right.
We have lives, there are lives, potential lives at
Potential.
stake. That's what brought him in here. He feels that strongly about it to come before us, that there could be a loss of life.
Better to do it now than do a change order later.
Absolutely. Final thoughts? I think what I'm hearing in conjunction with the Chairman Moschetti, Tom, I think we moving forward with MassDOT, filing the appeal and see where this goes next.
Okay, so I'm doing both. Okay, Got it.
I believe that's the consensus of the board.
Mr. Chair, I thought Kirk, so he's gonna do the MassDOT, not Jeff, not Kirk, or is everybody are the three of them gonna do it, or just Tom?
I think it's a team effort.
So Kirk's gonna call
I
MassDOT?
can, if you don't mind, I will call Mass Highway and see if we can get the person who's handling that file, so to speak. And I think let them know from Templeton Planning Board, not that it really matters, but I'd encourage, if they haven't filed, if they haven't done a site walk or addressed the plan yet, I'd be willing to sit down with them, whether I have to go down to Springfield or wherever they are, or even have them go up here. I have no issues with that at all.
Okay, so just keep me in the loop and let me
Yeah.
know if you're not
Yeah,
going.
you guys will all be,
We can get a letter on file.
yeah, and I'll shoot an email to all involved here. As I progress or make contacts, we know what's going on. Everybody will.
So Tom, and to recap, Tom handles the legal end. Kirk handles his end.
Mass Highway.
Kurt's gonna
I'll handle Mass
coordinate
Highway.
with Mass Highway. This is one of these circumstances where we've got good people in all these positions, you know, we're not gonna micromanage them. We're gonna let them do what we have them in positions for. But they're keeping us informed. This is how government works.
Checked up.
Absolutely.
We do a summer, right? I ran for my first term 20 years ago. Just want to run one term, that's it. Here I am 20 years later going.
Looked you hard, didn't they?
Kudos.
Final thoughts?
I think we do both is the way to go and see if we can get. Cause there's a lot of safety there. It's not just the speed of the traffic. In the wintertime, you're gonna have stuff backing out in the road and, you know, you have Baker Lane and then you have that next house going east. And this is just gonna climb up that corner right there.
Yeah, and
And it's not right on the corner, it's just a little past it, so you're not gonna see it until
exactly.
you're there.
It's around the corner. Yeah.
Not a true blind corner, but can quickly become one.
So I go through an oak tree, so I know.
Mhm.
I remember that tree coming down.
Yeah.
So,
All those crazy windstorms, rainy windstorms we had.
Final thoughts, Mike?
I'm good to go. Thanks.
Just when they see the lawsuit, that gives a little punch to, a little kick to the.
And again, it's gonna depend on the appetite, and I'm sure they don't wanna lose a building season either.
Right.
I thank everybody for their time. I'm sorry we had to do it under the rapid constraints. Unfortunately, this is what we have to do. This is how the open meeting law works. And this is why we have a provision to call emergency meetings. Nothing further, I would entertain a motion, we adjourn.
So moved.
I have a motion, I have a second. All those in favor for adjournment, signify by saying aye.
Aye.